Welcome to Salad with a Side of Fries. I'm your host, Jen Trepic, talking wellness and weight loss for real life. We're here to clear up the myths, misinformation, bad science, and marketing to teach you how to eat and how to cheat. Are you ready? I'm having salad with a side of fries. This week, we're talking about honey. So it's an interesting one because some people are like, oh no, like sugar, sweetener, I don't know. Maybe it's better to have the one that's less likely to impact your blood sugar, while others would argue, honey, it's natural. It's better than those other sweeteners that might be low glycemic, but they're made from chemicals. So, on that one and all of this, I think each of us need to make the decisions that work for us in our lives and where we are. But I also, as we were just saying, I want to make sure everybody has the information to be able to make informed decisions for themselves. So let's start digging into honey a little bit. With the nutrition piece of it, a tablespoon of honey gives you 64 calories, all of which really come from the sugar because it really has no fiber, fat, or protein, but does have 17 grams of sugar, which is made of fructose, glucose, maltose, and sucrose, right? Like those types of sugars that we hear so much about. And really, it's this sugar that creates the controversy that I mentioned before, right? Because there's actually evidence on both sides of this equation, to choose different kinds of sweeteners. So looking at, a little bit of this. So with honey, we do see studies that honey can increase blood sugar levels, although not as much as refined sugar. So honey might be a better option for some people. The health benefits we hear about with honey mostly stem from its antioxidant content. So remember, we've talked about this before. Antioxidants are bioactive plant compounds that help with inflammation and oxidative stress in the body. So quick note with honeys, the darker the color tend to be higher in antioxidants than the lighter colored types. In particular, there were actually 2 studies that showed that buckwheat honey increases the antioxidant level in your blood. And getting into some specifics, honey may lower bad, like the LDL cholesterol or bad cholesterol, may lower triglycerides, lower inflammation, and increase our good cholesterol. So there was a study on rats that showed that honey protected the heart from oxidative stress. So interesting. There's also a couple studies that connected honey and blood pressure. So this one study looked at both rats and humans and showed that small reductions in blood sugar came from consuming honey. With regard to the cholesterol piece, there are some studies that demonstrate it can reduce total cholesterol and bad cholesterol while increasing that good cholesterol. But personally, like I said, I think it's really more a question of like, what's the alternative? Right. And this is part of the challenge of looking at these studies is that we don't really know, right? Like, is it because the honey was instead of table sugar or other things that they maybe were eating? Like some of that we don't really know. But a study that looked at 55 patients compared honey to table sugar and found that the honey caused a 5.8 reduction in LDL or bad cholesterol and a 3.3% increase in HDL, the good cholesterol. And it also led to a moderate weight loss of about 1.3%. Another heart health piece is triglycerides. So we often see an increase in triglycerides for people who regularly eat sugar and refined carbs. So there were a few studies that linked regular honey consumption with lower triglyceride levels, especially if it was used to replace the sugar. Again, it's sort of this connection and really understanding what it was an alternative to. And just as a caveat to all of this, none of these studies, in particular the ones on humans, were long-term. So take it all with a grain of salt. Nothing is 1,000,000% a given. And, again, we want to pay attention to our own bodies and what we notice and how we feel and making the right decisions for ourselves. Fun facts, though, because I think this is sort of interesting. Again, because of the antioxidants and some of those not ingredients, but qualities of the honey. So it's actually anti-inflammatory and antibacterial. So it's been used for healing and cleaning. So there have been a ton of studies about using honey, and actually honey might be more effective at healing burns and wounds compared to other kinds of um I guess topical agents or whatever that people use for those. So there was actually a 43% success rate as a wound treatment following surgeries. So that was interesting. Manuka honey is in particular for treating burns. It's been used to treat diabetic foot ulcers. Um, Actually healing, there was one study where it healed 97% of those ulcers, which is amazing. I know somebody who uses honey as their facial cleanser because it's antibacterial. So look into it. Maybe, there's also some studies about it helping with psoriasis and herpes lesions and things like that. And you maybe hear it like, as somebody was telling me today, they take honey when they have a cough. And so there are some studies with kids and coughs and using honey. And it actually can be potentially more effective than some common cough medications. So maybe worth considering, but not if your kid is under 1 years old. 1 year old? Yeah. Um, so also really fascinating to me about honey is that it's kind of similar to the coughing thing, but allergies. So when we get into allergy season, honey might be something that you want to introduce to your system because it can actually expose you to the fauna and flora from the flowers that it was made from. So if you have seasonal allergies, make sure you get a local honey and add a little bit, and it could potentially help your body's response to your seasonal allergies. So, like so many foods, we have to do a little research, a little digging to find the quality honey. And remember, right, color can indicate the level of antioxidant content and also the taste and the smell. It's all a function of like the flowers that the bee visited before making the honey. And read your packages, read those labels because some honey can actually be part honey and part syrup. So technically that's illegal, but it still happens. So key takeaways, right? We want to read our labels. Honey may be a great alternative if you're looking to focus on natural food sources as an alternative to table sugar. But that's not a reason to start having honey every day all the time just because, oh, maybe it'll give us some cholesterol benefit, right? So maybe next time you have a cough, you want to add some in or try it topically if you've never done that, like your next burn from the oven or the toaster, you know? So there you have it, my friends. Allie, Erica, anything to add on honey?
I love how comprehensive that was, first of all. And, we've worked with honey brands before. I'm a big fan. I do it in moderation because of the sugar content, but also there's, like you mentioned, Jen, there's so many great health benefits too, especially if you do suffer from allergies and all the antimicrobial properties of them, of the honey. So yeah, I would just say like you said, my 2 cents is like, just source some good stuff,
Yeah.
the real
Do you have a
stuff.
favorite brand? Give us a brand.
Yeah, so we are big fans of Beekeepers Naturals. We know
Yeah.
their founder, and she actually works with all parts of the hive, and it's like a nutraceuticals company. So that's my
Yeah.
personal favorite brand, or
And
anything local
I
too.
was going to say
Local. That's
local.
what I was
I
going to
think
say.
the best thing you could do is go to your farmer's market and get your honey there.
That's what I live right by a farmer's market and they name their honey from where the bees are in the city. So it's like literally neighborhood by neighborhood in the city. It's kind of amazing.
That's rad.
So, well, thank you both again for joining me today.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you. This was a real treat. And I love your podcast name. I love You're Just the Best. So this was so
Oh, well,
fun.
thank you. The feeling is mutual. So, as always, everybody, I'm your host, Jen Trepeck. Connect with me on Instagram at Jen Trepeck, JenTrepeck. And really, all of the social media platforms. That's the handle. Send me a message. You can also check our new website, asaladwithasideofries.com. I love nothing more than to hear your key takeaways and your ideas and your questions and what's sticking with you. So please, please send a message. This is also the easiest way to learn more about working with me. Of course, if you're not already a member, join our membership program by going to glow.fm/salad with a side of fries, or just click the link in the show notes to show your support for this podcast, this community, and above all, support your health. Plus, you'll get this week's recipe for the honey roasted butternut squash soup, the honey roasted carrots with tahini yogurt sauce. Plus, you'll be able to book your one-on-one session because I literally cannot wait to talk to you. So until next week, remember, your vibe attracts your tribe, as they say. And it's okay for this to change as we evolve because you are incredible and you deserve to surround yourself with people who will celebrate you and celebrate with you. Well, friends, that's it for today's episode of Salad with a Side of Fries. Congratulations for making yourself and your health a priority. Thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to click subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform. Share us with a friend, and we'll be back next week. Always remember, you deserve it, and you are worth it. Happy healthy.